Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. We've decided to come back for yet another week. Another week of racing and another week of listening to game show theme songs. Apparently that's how we start these broadcasts out. But my name is Camden Luca and I will be doing lead commentary tonight around the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit for round 2 of the season. And I said this last week, but if I had a nickel for every time that we did Bahrain for round 2, I could probably retire from the commentary booth and I would be on some beach somewhere down in Key Largo. It would be really nice, but nonetheless, we are here in the desert. I don't think we're going to get any rain tonight. That would be quite the shock. And if you have seen previous TCR races here in Bahrain, you would know that there's been a lot of shocks in the past. There's been a lot of twists and turns and unforeseen scenarios. And you know what? Unfortunately, I was reminded earlier by Jabbar of something that happened in the Season 14 Silver Class race here through that corner right there, turn 1. And long story short, I was basically used as a battering ram, and my back still hurts from that impact. So hopefully we don't have any of those scenarios tonight. But right now, B-Tom, our championship leader, is going around for a lap right now, and we're going to see what kind of a first lap he does here. And, you know, I'm not going to be too critical of him. He's probably getting a little bit of the rust off. I know he's not able to do that much practice before the race, so might be getting the rust off, might be remembering which pedal is on the left and which pedal is on the right. I hate to pick on my buddy Formula Jonah, but he was the one that forgot which brake pedal was which and which gas pedal was which in that Silver Class race back in Season 14. So hopefully we have none of that, but turn 1 is chaotic at this track, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Gio, good to see you in the comments. I was hoping to see you on track today, but nonetheless, hopefully we can see you back here soon, as B-Tom to the finish line puts up a 27.531, but it's invalid? Was it invalid? I think I was possibly blind there for a second. I didn't really notice if he was invalid, and he was invalid. I just saw a replay. And Toaster's not invalid. He goes up to a 28.556, and I think that's a good time to bring in the good old Toaster sound effect. There's only so many chances I can do that, especially, you know, we got to pay attention to all the drivers. So if I had the Toaster cam on the whole race, I think there would be pitchforks and riots in the comments if I only watched HVAC Toaster. But, you know, I wouldn't mind that personally. That would be all right, as Toaster's doing a little drift. As Bats Plus goes 1 up on the Toaster, he puts up a 28.420. And if I'm looking at the TCR qualifying lap record, oh my goodness. Hey Bats, I hate to break it to you. You have 4 seconds to go if you want to catch the record, and I think Colby is getting closer to that record. I don't know how he did this, but QVR Packer back in Season 11 put up a 124.815, and I might want to go check in with the stat guy and see if that's a typo, because that is just an insane lap time to put up a 124. Even if it's from Season 11, you know, I'm shocked that anyone could do that. But I did race against QBR Packer back in the day. He was very, very quick. I didn't race with him in TCR. I raced with him in a different league, but I was teammates with him, and he was phenomenal. So it doesn't surprise me that he's the one that put in that lap time. But B-Tom, looking to possibly do some more laps here after his banker lap went 140. And if you're not familiar with TCR, that is not as fast as B-Tom can go. As you see, he is 7 seconds, not 7 tenths, 7 seconds up in Sector 1. I think this is going to be a good lap for the championship leader and the now 50-time winner in the league. I do want to say hi to D-Swish, because D-Swish making his first start of Season 20, and D-Swish is a former winner here in TCR, very competitive whenever he shows up, so a little pat on the back for D-Swish, a little welcome home, and, well, this is a great segue. Home it is for Mahmoud. This is his home track, and, you know, I hate to do this to Mahmoud, because he's been one of the guys that has noticed my commentator's curse, and, well, I think most people do, but Mahmoud, he's quite detail-oriented. He definitely notices it. It's his home track, and he's been quick lately. I may have to put him on my podium predictions, but B-Tom may have to go on there as well. A 127.642, which is only about 2/10 ahead of Colby. And this is Colby's first regular season race, and I think he's going to be right up there with B-Tom for the win. Well, actually, no, I probably shouldn't say that because of my commentator's curse. So you know what? We're going to say that Colby crashes out on lap 1. Watch, it's actually going to happen now that I said that. But we do have, wow, we actually have quite the close gaps here from 3rd down to 6th. From the hair of my chinny chin chin, we got Seafreeze, Mahmoud, and D-Swish. They're all rubbing butts against each other right now. That's how close they are. And Seafreeze put up a pretty good lap there for his first lap. I do have some sad news to report about Seafreeze. Unfortunately, the Red Bull driver will be backing out of his full-time role after round 4. He's got some tables to go and wait. No, he's got some school, actually, so he's going to be backing out of his full-time role after round 4, so he's going to leave Bats all by himself. And there was a running joke I made last season when Seafreeze joined the booth for a couple of races that I would go pick him up from the woods and then I would drop him off back in the woods after the commentary, and we may be doing that after round 4 to him. But here's a familiar face, Zionical to the line, puts in a lap time. Zionical, former Silver Class champion from Season 16. Very quick driver, and I don't think that is the best lap time you will see from him today. But back to the top of the board, I do notice that Colby is putting in his bid to be going for the win on the Twitch side of things. I got a reaction to that. No, you'll be up there, Colby. Just don't think too hard about it. You'll be up there. I don't know if I should put you on my podium prediction, though, because we see what happens when I do that. But, man, I gotta say, everybody is ready to go today. We readied up at exactly 8:45 Eastern Time. And not a knack to these guys necessarily, but usually 8:45 is like the benchmark. It's very rare that we actually are ready to go at 8:45 Eastern, so we readied up at 8:45 Eastern, just about, and these guys have all put in a lap time, and we still have 8 minutes to go in this session, so great stuff by these guys. Seafreeze to the line. Did he just finish a lap? Let's see. Yeah, that's right, Gio. You do not want to test my commentator's curse. If you test positive for the commentator's curse, then it spreads like wildfire. You know, it's not like, you know, to put it bluntly, it's not like AIDS, you know, where it's usually 1 or 2 people. The commentator's curse, it gets spread out towards multiple people. It's like a virus, you know. It's like the coronavirus. So one person gets it, and then 10,000 people get it. But I think Toaster is looking pretty toasty right now. 28.253, and that puts him within 0.6 of a second on B-Tom for the top spot. And I think that's what you got to expect from Toaster, because he's quite a toasty driver himself when it comes to the speed. He qualified 10th last week, and he ended up making his way up to 7th. And right now he's back down to 4th because Bats just one-upped him, going up into P3. And Mahmoud said, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm one-upping both of you up to P3 for the hometown kid. And he is looking to creep his way into the 27s. And Gio, I gotta say, out of all the comments I was expecting to hear today, crusty is not a word I was expecting to see in the comments. Oh, JMV, you got done with your karting season. That's cool. Did you win? Did you get the championship? If not, you can come back to TCR and you can go for a championship here starting next week. Next week is the mystery race, by the way, so you would be coming back to quite a thriller. But Yusuf, I probably butchered your name, I'm sorry. The calendar can be found on our social media accounts, and it can be found in the TCR Discord, if you're looking for it there. I think D-Swish is finishing a lap, and let's see what the Williams driver has in store. I think he might gain some spots here. And he does, wow. Right behind his teammate in 3rd, and you know what? These three stooges right here are looking for just a little bit more if they want to get into the 27s, but I gotta say, quite the competition today. I'm really impressed, actually, by what I'm seeing out of these guys. And B-Tom just says, screw all of you, I'm going to go 27 flat. Man, I got to reach out to QVR Packer. I don't know how he put in a 24 here one time back in Season 11. And I know Season 11 was back on F1 2020, so that was back when the cars were really quick. But that's still, man, if you get in the 24s here, you got to be on some sort of steroids or something, because that is just insane. Oh, Gia, all right. Well, sweet dreams. Truth. New driver to the grid this week, starting out as a reserve, could move his way up to full-time if a spot opens up. And as a matter of fact, Seafreeze is putting in the towel after week 4, so Truth, you could possibly fill that Red Bull seat. Sensation, what's going on, man? GT for the win. I like that. GT got on the top step of the podium last season in Saudi Arabia, and if you did not see the finish of that race, that was one of those kind of races to where, to put it shortly, Lion led the last 200 yards of that race. He wasn't in the lead before then. It was a classic finish, and you know, Lion, he's always up there, always at the front, always consistent. He was at the butt end of my commentator's curse last week, and that was one of those moments to where I didn't even realize it at the time. But I enabled the Lion, you know, the king of the jungle. You don't want to mess with a lion because they'll get you. They'll eat you up and spit you out and throw you over that spectator wall. But I basically said exactly that, and then he ended up taking Gio and throwing him over the turn 1 wall. And that was the end of Gio's day. But right now, it looks like we got a few minutes left, and Zionical is going to finish up his lap. And let's see if he gets out of the caboose. He does. He gets up to a 29.737. So, FND Cakes, you're next. You're next to get yourself out of the caboose of the train. And I don't think trains do that. If I saw a train swerving like that on the railroad near me, I would be calling for somebody, because that would not end well. But let's see what FND has up his sleeve here as he starts his lap. And we're going to do a lap around the Bahrain circuit and just analyze. As you take a look, everybody coming out of the pits to get one more lap in. As FND through turns 1 and 2, up into turn 3. That hard braking turn 1 is definitely going to be something to look for on that first lap. As FND hard on the brakes, maybe sends it in a bit too deep there in turn 4, but nonetheless picks it back up. Turns 5 and 6, very technical back and forth section as he makes his way into yet another hard braking area. These brakes will be screaming by lap 29. You can guarantee it, as this is my least favorite corner. Right there in turn 10, that hairpin area. That may be the hardest corner on the circuit, especially for those who don't use ABS. It's one of those corners to where you really got to just use enough brake without using too much. As here comes F&D, you don't want to hit those curbs, they will send you around. And now he makes his way into turn 13. He is 6/10 up on his lap. Zionicle, I hate to say this, bud, but you may be going straight back down to the caboose, right where you came from. And we're about to see F&D cakes through the final 2 corners, actually. I don't agree that that's 2 corners, but nonetheless, to the finish line, F&D cakes puts up a 29.732, and he just eclipses Zionicle. And that may stay because Zionicle is hanging it up for the time being. But let's take a look at TJ. I think TJ is going to start a lap. I think Chargers is starting his lap, and I think F1 Nerd is starting his lap. And this could get hairy right here between these 2 knuckleheads, as Chargers about maybe 2 seconds within F1 Nerd, so he's praying that F1 Nerd doesn't make a mistake right now into turn 4. And on the gas he goes. Chargers trying to chase him. Whenever I qualify, I try to social distance myself as far as possible away from everybody. I pretend that it's still COVID-19 because I just don't want to take the risk of the guy ahead of me making a mistake, and I think Chargers is hoping the same. Oh, a bit sideways there, and that's going to hurt his time a bit. But time has expired. Let's see what F1 Nerd does here, as FND may have just given him a tow right there. Good little teamwork by the Freeze Foundation teammates in that RB car. F1 Nerd, I think you stole Seafreeze's number. Oh wait, Seafreeze, I think you stole F1 Nerd's number. Same number. I didn't realize F1 Nerd changed his number this season, but F1 Nerd, first one to the finish line on this cycle of laps. Let's see what he's got. He puts up a 28.291. I'll save that as one of my tongue twisters to practice. As Bats Plus to the finish line, a 27.9, but Mahmood up to third, 27.7. Laps are just firing off left and right. Who's next? Seafreeze to the line, 28.2. Man, I could be an auctioneer at this rate. 27.8 for D-Swish. TJ, 28.9. Chargers, 29.1. Truth, 29.1. FND, 29.7. Zionicle, 29.737. And Toaster puts up a 28 point flat. 28 flat. And that will do it. B-Tom. That's not B-Tom. We can't see B-Tom because he retired. B-Tom, top of the board, his first pole position of season 20, and he did it by 0.4 of a second, so yeah, he could be in store here for back-to-back wins possibly, and that would be 5 in a row on the resumes, so that would be a little pat on the back here, and win number 51. We do have 14 tonight. I was expecting a little bit more, but I think we'll get more next week because I know JMB and Capitan will be back next week. JMB, you got the championship. That's awesome, dude. Congrats. So now you got to go 2 for 2, though. You know, you only missed a couple of races to start off the TCR season, so you gotta come back and get a championship here. And you could do it. One of the notable guys from last week, Mac T, not here tonight. He might be out on a Mac P somewhere. he might be a little busy, so. But, all right. Question is, who will be commentator cursed tonight? That was not grammatically correct, but forgive me. And I do believe that we will have dry weather tonight. And that means we got to do podium predictions. So I got to do it. B-Tom, back-to-back. I loved his speed. Got to go B-Tom P1. I think Colby's going to get P2. I think he's got a lot of pace. I'm ready. And P3. Mahmoud, I hate to do this to you. You're the hometown kid. I like your pace. I'm going to go Mahmoud, P3, to get on the podium. So you three. And I did pick the guys that are starting at the front, and we'll see what happens in turn one. Maybe that will completely screw things up, knowing turn one here and how turn one goes. But feel free to leave your podium predictions down in the chat of who you think is going to finish in the top three in order. Ooh, J and B, you got Mahmoud as well. And something I want to point out to you guys on the YouTube side of things, something that I love, and this is huge, not just for us, but also for YouTube as a whole, the XP. If you get the most comments, you will get the XP award for the day, the most XP out of everybody. So feel free to spam the comments if you want participation points, I guess. And I think these guys have had plenty of time to use the potty and get their setups in and get their strat in. So we're going to get going. But wow, Mahmoud is cooked. Okay. Okay. All right, we got some Mahmoud doubters here at his home race. That's awful. This is, and I got to say, it is a big deal. Ah, crap. It is a big deal when you have a home race, because this has basically become an American series with a feature from a couple of Canadians and a Bahraini, you know, a guy from Bahrain and a couple guys from Canada. So, yeah, this is a big deal. It's one of the few home races that we will truly have on the schedule. But looks like we should be good to go. Hopefully there was no issues there with Zionical disconnecting. Hopefully that didn't screw things up. But let's take a look. And it looks like people are playing follow the leader. Not many takers on the reverse strat, with the exception of Chargers in the Mercedes down in P11 and Seafreeze in the Red Bull in P7. I'm curious how this is going to go for these guys, and you know, it might not be the worst thing in the world, especially if you get an early safety car. Well, actually, no, Camden, that wouldn't work. You would want to take the hards to the end. Ah, if there's an early safety car, which there could be, by the way. We've had some classic TCR races here in the past, and one of them, Season 14 Silver Class start. And we actually had a, that might have been the TCR Grand Prix. It was. So we had, for the Silver Class, we had a 5-lap race to start off the event, and that's where the chaos happened. And unfortunately, I was at the receiving end of that chaos, and it looks like B-Tom is... he's doing another qualifying lap here. He's going full throttle. He does not care. But quite frankly, Colby doesn't care either, because Colby's kind of in La La Land by himself right now. He's like half a track behind B-Tom. And Mahmoud's, he's probably giving that 6 feet social distancing that we saw in 2020 to Colby and then back to D-Swish. But we've had a couple more classic races, and another one that comes to mind is when B-Tom went up against Bama, Season 16 Platinum class, and Bama in his first start was able to defeat B-Tom for the win on the last lap. That was a classic. And B-Tom doing a interesting angle here. B-Tom, you know the track goes forward, right? Unless if you're trying to just take out the Gulf Air wall, then go for it. But I think we are ready to go. The last driver on the grid, Zionical, I think we got him back in the session. We should be good to go. And let's see how these drivers navigate turn one, the treacherous turn one of the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. 29 laps, 15 corners, and we'll see how this goes. We got 3, 4, 5 red lights on the grid, and now it's time to go, go, go. Off the line, B-Tom gets a good start. Colby's right there with him, but he tucks back in line as we head into turn 1. Zionicle still on the grid. And, ooh, locking up his D-switch. A bit of contact there, and I think everybody is still alive. Bumper-to-bumper action. F1er off the track, back on it he goes. Toaster and Bat side by side. And down into turn 4, Toaster's still there. And I'm curious what's going to happen here with Zionicle. He may have gone for a bathroom break, maybe. I don't know. Oh, there he goes. He may be back from the bathroom, actually. Let's see. What on earth is happening here? That's strange. Check back in with the people that are racing. Is that 3 wide back here for a second there? At the caboose, TJ, P13, F&D Cakes, P12, and Chargers, P11. I'm a little worried about this, not going to lie. I don't know what is going on here. 4th gear at 10 miles an hour. I did not have that on my bingo card for season 20, but take a look at the start from B-Tom. Oh my goodness. 1 second ahead of Colby, and it's not like Colby didn't get a good start because he's got 8/10 on Mahmood. Oh boy, this could get sketchy. Oh no. Lap 2, here we go. Let's take a look on how this is going to settle out. Zionicle is off the track right now. Creeping back on the track, though, he is ghosted. And he tucks back in line. And there he goes. That's a first. I gotta say, that's a first. Zionicle, you know, I know your internet was just flopping on you. Oh my goodness! What happened here? B-Tom just got 10 seconds. And I'm sure that's going to be removed. That is super unfortunate. A glitchy start to the race, and B-Tom is at the butt end of it. But you know what? That does not distract the fact that this guy right here deserves the Price is Right Losing Horn Award for giving B-Tom 10 seconds. And doing his best flip-flop impression I've ever seen. Going to the bathroom, forgetting that we started the race, even if that's not what happened. But that really shakes things up, at least just for the on-track circumstances. And I'm sure he's going to get those 10 seconds removed. But you know what, though? This could actually play a big role into how things develop for the official results, because B-Tom, I think he's got 2 5-second penalties, technically. So his pit crew may not know what they're doing. They may sit him in the pit lane for 10 seconds. So this race is not over at all. I think this has just opened things wide open for Colby and company to take advantage of this situation. That is super unfortunate, though, for B-Tom. But for the time being, we're going to check in with Truth, making a move on the 3-time champion Seafreeze. Seafreeze going to take another swing at Truth for the time being, and GTR Lion going to stay in line. We're side by side. We're nearly banging wheels. And Seafreeze not going to give up. Oh, this is tight. Just as tight as... Oh, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Toaster's around. Oh, man. After a good qualifying effort, he slides in turn 8. And let's take a look at the positions gained and lost off the start. Truth goes up 3 spots. Good start for him. F1 Nerd up 2 spots. F&D Cakes up 2 spots. Not a chaotic start at all when it comes to positions gained and lost. Except this guy. Zionicle, this was quite the return. And I know there was some internet connection issues, but that was just really unfortunate with the timing of things. And, well, you know what? He is giving a free slipstream to this guy right here, F&D Cakes, and I'm sure F&D appreciates this. This is almost his free space on the bingo card. his free pass, if you will. He's got DRS, even though he's a second and a half back of GTR Lion, who is at the caboose of his own train, respectfully. And probably not the start that Lion is looking for. Down in P10, didn't have the best qualifying effort, and it is a far cry from where he finished last week, as, look at this! They're banging each other here in turn 4, and Toaster just bullied F1 Nerd. Up into P6 he goes, and that's quite a way of doing it. And you know what? I'm going to get this helicopter shot before I lose it. And here we go. From the Toaster's point of view, I don't know if this is going to be as good as Saudi Arabia, because I think Saudi Arabia's probably got the best helicopter camera. If I could give an award to the best helicopter cameraman, it's definitely the guys in Saudi Arabia. The camera crew there do a fantastic job. And the preseason race, whoa! Toaster, buddy, the track's over here. And the camera crew there definitely do a good job. And Toaster's the lead guy in his train. But at the front, I'm telling you, Colby is definitely in a good spot right now, because I think that B-Tom could get screwed over on pit stops based on his 10-second penalty, which he did not earn, by the way. Just want to point that out. Ooh, we got a battle here. Mahmoud losing the podium to D-Swish in his return to the grid. And Mahmoud he's looking for his first podium in TCR, and I'm telling you, it's going to come sooner than later. He's just too quick of a driver to not get a podium here eventually. And this could be the day, depending on how he plays things with strategy and if he can keep all four wheels on the racetrack. So let's go on board with the Bahraini driver. And let's see what he does here. Yeah, J&B, he's definitely going to have to serve that penalty, which is super unfortunate, but that may throw a wrench into things, and we'll see how that shapes up in comparison to he and Colby. Yeah, I don't think that he was trying to put out the safety car on purpose. It looked like he was genuinely trying to get going. He was in fourth gear at 10 miles an hour. I've never tried to do that, but I'm sure he was just fussling, trying to get things to work. And with these games, I mean, there was a time where I actually screwed up a TCR race one time back in season 13 in Australia when I disconnected, and it was under safety car. And what happened was everyone behind me was stuck behind my Ghost, and my Ghost was going abnormally slow. It was a situation to where they couldn't pass my car or they would get a penalty. So it screwed everything up. But, you know, you live and learn, right? Yes, the cars are equal in TCR races. And in most servers, they should be as... Whoa, take a look at this here. I think Toaster is getting bamboozled here by the two Freeze Foundation drivers who are going ham against one another here. Whoa! What was that? It looked like F1 Nerd just took a swing at Seafreeze and took his wing off, but I think the Codemasters server was just playing April Fools on us in July. That looked really sketchy, but nonetheless, I think we're good. And things are good for the time being, but I'm telling you, Toaster might want to run because he has quite the pack of people right behind him in his train. And you know what? I got to play this because, well, we talked about the caboose earlier, and we're going to talk about the leader. The conductor of the train is that guy right there. Whoops. You were not supposed to hear that. We will hear that at some point, though. I'm sure somebody will get a time penalty, as we have a caution for F&D Cakes and TJ. They have gotten together in turn 11. And I'm sure there was some sort of contact there. That is one of those corners to where you can go side by side, and differing lines can intersect, and that just leads to a disaster. And unfortunately for these guys, it is a disaster, as they are down to P12 and P13, and they're about I would say the half of Bahrain behind Chargers in length. When I say half of Bahrain, I mean the country, because the country is like 4 miles. Sorry, let me put it in global context, kilometers. America does things differently for some reason, but man, these two will not give it up. F1 Nerd right behind Seafreeze. And they're chasing Toaster. But I gotta say, B-Tom doing a good job of pulling a gap. And at this point, he may not even have to worry about his penalty, because if he keeps pulling out the gap, he could not lose the lead possibly. But we will see. You know, it's always good to pull out. So if you keep pulling out from the person behind you, then good things tend to happen. And we'll see if B-Tom can keep pulling out. But someone that needs to pull out right now is D-Swish, because he's got Mahmood right on his butt. And we'll see if Mahmood makes a move. If Mahmood makes a move on the front stretch to get by D-Swish. I don't think he's close enough, and quite frankly, he should save a bit of the battery, because both of these guys are a little low, but Mahmood may be taking a swing here, and it looks like he just did a dummy on D-Swish. I don't think he actually meant to do that, but Seafreeze meant to make a move on Toaster, and it looks like Truth may be taking a peek on F1 Nerd. Battles everywhere, and Seafreeze is the beneficiary of that move, and he goes up into P6. But behind them, though, Truth, the new driver to the grid, up to P8. And I like the pace that I'm seeing from the debut of the guy in the Sauber. Could get a different car, depending on if a full-time seat opens up for that guy. But he's got a former TCR champion right on his tail. And two of them, well, if you want to be technical on the leaderboard, Truth actually has 4 former champions on his tail, so he might want to run. Wow. What? Wait. Did Yusuf get banned? Did I miss something? Whoa, F1 Nerd. Hang on, buddy. Did Yusuf... For people in the YouTube... Man, the Nightbot's not messing around tonight. Did Yusuf just get banned? I don't see his comments anymore. Well, he better not have been saying any racial slurs or anything. What's been going on in the chat there, you guys? I look away for 2 seconds and somebody's gotten banned, as here comes Toaster in the pits. And he is one of the first drivers to come in for a pit stop, and let's see what he does here. I'm assuming the hards. I did see in the chat earlier, people were saying how the hards can go 18 laps. And quite frankly, I think they can probably go longer than that, but Toaster is going to give these hard tires a projected 20 laps. So we'll see how this turns out for the Alpine driver. And honestly, man, if MacT shows up every week, this could be a good match for constructors, because both of these guys tend to run up front. So, but I like what I see out of the Ferrari. I know Lion isn't having the best start to his race, but Lion, he's always at the front typically, and of course you got B-Tom up here with a 4-second lead on Colby, but he does have that 10-second penalty, got to keep that in mind, which he did not earn, by the way, and that's something that sucks, is that I really wish that this game would give you an option to just not accept the penalty in the pit lane, to where you can just accept it at the end of the race, and then whatever happens in the results happens. I wish that you could have that option, because the pit crew, they're going to take the penalty away from him, but they're going to hold him up for 10 seconds. So although the leaderboard says that he's up by about 5 seconds, this race is not over. And as a matter of fact, I think this race is going against B-Tom, as Truth speeds in the pit lane. Oh, Truth, I hate to do this to you, but you, sir, got caught in 4K, so here comes the police. Right on your tail, and they're going to lock you up, throw you in the back of the police car, and put you in handcuffs, and you may be in solitary confinement after that one, because you, sir, just earned a legitimate, and let me clarify, a legitimate 10-second penalty, unlike B-Tom. And that flips your race upside down, completely flip-flopped fish. Here comes TJ out of the pits. And TJ, P12 right now. He's got FND Cakes about 4 seconds behind him at the moment, so maybe a battle brewing up between those guys depending on what happens there. But I'm really curious as to what's going to happen with B-Tom, because if I were him personally, I would stay out on track until you lose time to the guy behind you. He's continuing to gain time on Colby. I don't see a reason for him to come in the pits because he's got to gain as much time as he can with that penalty. So if I were him, I would just stay out and just try to build a gap and just see what you can do. He's already got 6 seconds, I'm telling you. He could get up to a 10-second lead and possibly not lose the lead in the pit cycle. So we'll have to see what happens there with the strategy. Yeah, Zionical, that's unfortunate. It took your car to the spectator menu. This game's a lot better than previous games, but there's definitely still just little things that need to be buffed out, and that's definitely one of those things. I like me some helicopter shots. Fun fact, we're getting into TCR commentary history here, so everybody open your books to page 13. Back in season 13, me and TJ and I, in grammatical terms, we were in the booth together and we decided to play helicopter noises with our mouth, and that turned into a recurring bit, and eventually I found a helicopter sound effect and I use that helicopter sound effect on a weekly basis. So if you're wondering where these sound effects come from, you can thank this guy right here. He and I were in the booth for a couple of seasons, actually. I think it might have been season 14, or around season 13, season 14. We were in the booth for a couple seasons, and it materialized into that. Here we go. B-Tom getting held up in the pits, and we're going to see where he comes out in respective to everybody else. And I do want to just take a look at the penalties. He is clear of the 10 seconds, but where is he going to come out? Whoa, Bats. Hold your horses there, Cowboy. That's quite a move there to go on the softs. And let's see where he comes out, though, in comparison to the guys behind him. I think Truth is going to have to fall in line behind Bats, who went on the soft tires. But take a look at this right here. B-Tom down to P6. Colby, P1 for the time being. And where will he come out in comparison to B-Tom? And I think this might be okay for B-Tom. He might lose the lead, but he could still be there in at least a range of Colby when this all cycles out. So this might be all right. And I think B-Tom is going to push here. And you see that yellow icon, the battery, down to 32%. And he's definitely pushing. Definitely pushing to see what he can do. And now the question is, where will he come out in comparison to Colby? And here comes Colby, and he speeds! Oh, Colby, that's the last thing you had to do. And here comes all the police. That was an unfortunate accident there. Here comes all the police. SWAT team, National Guard. We're even calling in the president. This is terrible for Colby. And B-Tom, welcome back to the net lead, because Colby just threw things away. And that's unfortunate because he did come out in front of B-Tom, but all for naught as Colby speeds in the pit lane. 10-second penalty. And whoa, Mahmood going nose to nose here with Truth down to turn 4. Let's see who gets the upper hand. Mahmood gonna give him some space here. Very respectful battle between these two. Truth gonna have to tuck back in line. Good stuff here. That's what you like to see. good hard racing. And you know, that's something that I've noticed on this game, is that the quality of racing has definitely gotten better compared to what it was in previous games, just because DRS isn't as big of a thing, you know. It's like when you go to Krispy Kreme and get some donuts, you know. If you have someone in line in front of you that orders a bunch of different things, they order a 24-pack of donuts, and then they order a coffee, then they order a sandwich, and then you have Seafreeze in front of him getting time penalties. You know, these two, they kind of just take up the whole show and they ruin it for everyone. And that's kind of what DRS was doing for a while. It was kind of stinking up the show, and it was kind of just taken away from the racing. So, Seafreeze, welcome to the lead, but also welcome to jail. You, sir, straight to jail. Throw away the key. And as a matter of fact, we might put you in a padded room as well. Why not? And here's B-Tom getting the lead back from Colby. So, and honestly, that's quite a show of pace from B-Tom. The fact that he basically was given a 10-second disadvantage and still came out in net P1. I think he's going to prove me wrong in my preseason predictions, and he may be going for championship number 8 after all. But hey, we're only 2 rounds in, and next week is the mystery race where, quite frankly, anybody can win. So keep an eye out for that next week. And the point of the mystery race is that you don't know what track you're going to. B-Tom up to P2, and fun fact, these two drivers in the top 2 have combined for 10 championships, and if we go down to Chargers, 11 TCR championships in the top 3. This is pretty cool to see. And hey, looking at the grid and looking at what we have, I can definitely see some potential TCR champions in the future, so you never know. I think Colby's going to give a swipe at Chargers here. Colby could still get on the podium even with his 10-second penalty, but he's going to have to hustle away from Chargers, who is on a different strategy though, so keep that in mind. As B-Tom fastest lap, but boy, these two just keep going at it. And Mahmoud gets the upper hand. Chargers, man, he's doing everything he can on those hards. It may be time to come in the pit soon. He is losing a bit of time, but who knows, maybe the safety car will come out and that will save his race. But I do want to check in with F1 Nerd, because he is currently swiping the final point away from GTR Lion, and that may change depending on what happens with Seafreeze and Chargers. And I know Lion, he doesn't get much time to practice before each race, and maybe this is just you know, an off week. And who knows, we could get a safety car, he could get right back into things, but as of now, he may be looking to regroup next week. Might not be getting the best finish tonight, but, you know, everyone has an off week, you know? Everybody has to call sick into the office every once in a while, and you never know. It's never over until the fat lady sings, and quite frankly, I don't see any fat ladies in my peripheral vision, so I think we may be good for the time being. And take a look at this, Seafreeze in the pits. And Seafreeze puts on the mediums, so that means Chargers is the lone duck on his strategy, and he may be under fire here from a hot Toaster. And let's see what Toaster can do, and Toaster, as of now, could be in position for a P4. I'm telling you, man, if these Alpines can show up every week, these guys could be right in the thick of things for the constructors, but we'll see. And Toaster gonna give Chargers a little something here, and there he goes up in the P4. So now the question is, though, you got Bats Plus on the softs. How is Bats going to factor into things here? Because you got Colby in front of him with a penalty, but he is on hards. And I do just want to take a look at the time to the leader, because you see Colby's 2 seconds back, you see Toaster only 6 seconds back, and he's 4 back of Colby. So you know what? Toaster could be in for his first podium since, I believe, season... Oh my gosh, maybe season 16. It's been a long time since Toaster's been here and been racing on a regular basis, and it's really good to see the fact that he's back and he's better than ever. But it's not over yet. We don't have any fat ladies singing anywhere, and I think Mahmoud is going to give him a run for his money. Mahmoud he's coming. Mahmoud is coming, and he just came on Chargers, and there he goes. Up in the P5, so this, as of now, looks to be the battle for P3 with penalties being included. So, Toaster, you may want to run. You got a hometown kid right on your tail. Truth, man, Truth is getting in on these battles today. I like this. And don't look now, but F1 Nerd, he wants to play as well. He's got a big playground here, and I'd say F1 Nerd is kind of on the slide right now, and he's wanting to get up the ladder onto the fort, you know, the top part of the playground, and he wants to get up to where Truth is and where D-Swish is. And I think Chargers, he's on the top of the fort right now, and ooh, look at this. Toaster a bit wide, and Mahmoud says, thank you very much, up into P4. Am I... Well, damn it, Colby. I'm waiting to get a perfect podium prediction. I came so close, actually, to getting it last week, and it didn't materialize. I picked B-Tom P1, I picked Colby P2, and I picked Mahmoud P3, but based on penalties, I don't know. But actually, with the fact that Bats is on softs, Mahmoud could be in for a P2. Chargers, man, he is hanging tough on those hard tires, and now he's got a good view at P6, which, ooh, D-Swish, wow. He just swished right in front of Truth, and Truth says, not so fast, cowboy, here I come. To the inside, Truth gives him the space, and I think he's gonna, whoa! Hold your horses, Truth, that was a good save. And he is P7 for the time being. Good save, though. And I think F1 Nerd says, I want to play. Chargers, whoa, F1 Nerd. You know, maybe I got to get off the onboard cam. Maybe that's the issue right now. But Chargers definitely hanging tough on those hard tires. Just seeing if the safety car comes out. Maybe, I don't know, he could get one here. These guys are getting a little feisty. C-Freeze on fresh tires, maybe trying to get a couple spots here. And he does have his Freeze Foundation teammate right in front of him, who is getting held up by Chargers, and he just knocked the cone down. And he's carrying the cone with him. Wow. F1 Nerd, what did that cone do to you? Did he put coal in your stocking? And here comes Bats in the pits, and here comes Truth in the pits. Whoa, we got a lot of people in the pits here. Am I missing something? Well, Chargers, yeah, that makes... Oh, because F1 Nerd did a medium. I'm really shocked that a lot of these guys are going for a two-stopper. I would have thought that... You know, Bahrain has been a track notorious for two-stops in the past, but I feel like as the games have gone on, the two-stop has just become irrelevant, but it's good to see people switching it up here and going for a two-stopper, and I think we're going to see here where things fall in line when it comes to two-stops versus one-stops. Chargers comes out P10 ahead of F1 Nerd on the hard tires, and F1 Nerd has a penalty, so I don't think points are happening for him today unless if things happen. Mike, good to see you in the chat. Yes, TCR is back. Round 2 out of 12 here in Bahrain. It's one of the unofficial TCR traditions. The fact that we do round 2 here in Bahrain, It's not on purpose, I swear. It just seems like we do Bahrain round 2 more times than not, and quite frankly, I actually like that because I like having certain things fall in line every season. We have Britain round 6, we have Coda on the schedule just about every season, and I think Bahrain should be one of those staples where we just have it on the schedule every year, and we just put it in the second spot as Chargers. Oh, man. Well, you know what? I was just singing your praises, the fact that you got out ahead of F1 Nerd, and you're in the points, but, sir, you just got caught in 4K. And straight to jail, and we'll put you in a padded room with a couple of guys with big muscles, and we'll see what happens from there. F&D Cakes taking a snag at the pit lane here, and he's going to put on some medium tires. And away he goes. Luckily for him, I don't think P14 is a possibility because I think Zionicle has earned that. And actually, technically, because Zionicle disconnected on lap 1, he will go down as a DNF. Come on. There we go. The caboose of the train, somebody's got to be it. And B-Tom right now, I'm telling you, I'm really impressed by the pace today. He doesn't have Mac T here to go up against him, but, you know, Colby's pace has gotten better since last season. I think a lot of these guys' pace has gotten better since last season, and he's doing a great job. But Toaster going to take a snag at the pits too. Man, I'm really kind of surprised by the amount of 2 stops. I thought a 1 stop was kind of what people would be going for, but it seems like with the fact that tire wear is more of a problem on this game, we may be seeing more 2 stops than 1 stops at this point. And here comes Toaster out of the pits right in front of TJ. And TJ is going to have to just sit right behind his butt here. And, whoa, he's trying to stay up with him, and I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. So Mahmood, he did a medium soft, and Bats is getting all 3 compounds in there. That's interesting. I don't know if I would finish with the hard tire personally, but hey, whatever tickles your fancy, man. That's cool. I love this. This is great racing. The fact that we have so much strategy coming into play. 2 stops, 1 stops, a bunch of different compounds. This is not over. I genuinely don't know who's going to finish on the podium. Because if you look at the top 3, there's no reason for these guys to pit. I don't see how the Hearts can't go 18 laps, you know? D-Swish could be in for a podium here. And if you take a look at the positions gained and lost, really not much change. Lion going to get a couple spots from where he started. And Lion could be using that 1 stop to his advantage here. And Seafreeze. You know, Seafreeze, let's see where he is in comparison to Colby, actually. Let's see. Ah, yeah, he ain't getting up there. And as a matter of fact, I don't think D-Swish is getting up there. Colby could be in for a P2 even with 10 seconds in penalties. I think this is as straightforward of a race as you can get. But like I said, I don't see any fat ladies singing, so this is not over just yet. And it's not over for P6. Mahmood behind Bats. And I think Mahmood may want something else here. And honestly, it would be a shame if Mahmood doesn't get up in the top 5. Oh, and Toaster gets another penalty right behind these guys. Add that to the naughty list, and he is the 5th driver to go to jail. And he may need a get-out-of-jail card, but unfortunately for he and F&D Cakes, we don't have get-out-of-jail cards for 3-second time penalties. And Bats Plus going to go behind Mahmood. So I'm looking at I'm looking at the order right now. We got 6 laps to go based on where B-Tom is. And Lion's probably going to finish ahead of Seafreeze if he can get to him. Man, once again, Lion is behind someone that has the penalty, and he needs to creep up to them to get them on track. But Lion could be in for another P4, as looks like TJ in the pits. Behind him, Mahmood. Mahmood could get Lion, so this could be the battle for P4? You know what, though? I don't know if pit stops are out of play. We'll have to see what happens here with Seafreeze on if his medium tires can go the distance. He would have to take those 13 laps, and we've seen a lot of people bail on that so far this race. So, honestly, I don't know who's going to finish third. I think first, second, I think that's definitely still pretty solid. I think Colby and B-Tom are going to finish in their positions, but Seafreeze is catching D-Swish, and you never know what can happen there. But D-Swish, first race back, and I like what I see out of these Williams. This could be a good podium for these guys if they can both finish second and third, respectfully. But I think this is what we got to look at right now here. Lion is pushing, trying to get up to Seafreeze, but Seafreeze may have played the strategy right by doing a hard medium. And it's funny, you take a look at all these guys down here with all of these different compounds. You got this guy on 2 mediums, you got this guy on 2 mediums, you got Bats Plus saying, you know what, I want one of everything. But maybe simplicity is the way to go, and the top 5, they said, you know what, I'm just going to take hards and mediums for today. I'm just going to do that. It's like when you're at a restaurant, you know, you just take a salad and you don't feel as bloated when you go home. Maybe that's the strategy for today. Maybe B-Tom just ordered, maybe he just ordered a salad. A salad and a water to go, and B-Tom may be winning on that strategy. As you know what's insane? B-Tom, he should be 17 seconds ahead of Colby based on that stupid penalty he got earlier. And the race isn't even over. And Colby, his pace has gotten a lot better from where it was last season. And if you look down, D-Swish 20 seconds back, that should be 30 seconds back. Just unbelievable pace by the Ferrari today. And he's making do of what he can do, because I've heard from the grapevine that there is a chance that B-Tom could miss some races this season, so he's doing what he's got to do. You know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You got to just kind of give in to whatever you got to do. Zionicle was going to go 1 stop, medium hard. Yeah, that may have been the way to go, honestly, based on what the top 3 has in store. That could have been the way to go, but I guess we'll never know. I gotta say, though, Zionicle, your AI is only about 76 seconds back of F&D Cake, so that's good. That's not terrible. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Bahrain, if you look back at TCR's history, Bahrain is one of those tracks to where it really is one of the thrillers, if you will. Season 16 Platinum class comes to mind. Season 14 Silver class comes to mind. And I'm sure there's a handful of other races that I haven't even thought about. But this is the battle right now for P10, and it could be closer than we think, because F1er just got himself back into jail with another penalty. And I think Truth may be staying in P11 for the time being, but if F1er gets another penalty, hey, who knows? And Truth could be in play for points in his first race, but may not be happening, but we will see. And this is interesting. Okay, Bats Plus is gaining on Mahmood, who had 6 laps on his soft tires, and back around him he goes. So this strategy of going medium, soft, hard could work out for the Red Bull. He could finish ahead of Mahmoud after all. And yeah, Mahmoud definitely pushing here, trying to get what he can get. I'm really kind of surprised by the fact that so many people did 2 stops, and the fact that the top 5 all did a 1 stop, and it looks like they're going to finish 1 through 5 with Seafreeze in P4. And I got to say, this is probably a shot in the arm for Seafreeze after the race he had last week. And quite frankly, just if you run into Seafreeze, don't ask him about last week because it did not go well. And as a matter of fact, he is sitting with a goose egg with points right now, and that may change for the better. He's looking for 12 points here. Although, I don't know, Lion, he's getting close. He's been gaining a few tenths. And this race is not over just yet, so you never know. Lion could be in for his second P4 of the season, but what this will do, too, and I'm just looking at points roughly, you had Mac T and Rafa Hulk that finished P2 and P3 last week. They're not here tonight, so Lion could come out of here being P2 in the standings, and I think by a comfortable margin over Mahmoud, P3 in points. So that could be the top 3 in points after today. B-Tom, Lion, and Mahmoud, as of now, could be the top 3 in points, and I think Toaster would be P4. Although, I don't know, you got Colby up there in P2, so we'll see what happens, but B-Tom looks to be in a good spot. I think we're out of safety car territory, so he could be in for his 5th win in a row and his 2nd on the season, and he is looking pretty good to go and get another championship. But we'll see, you know, it's a long season. Trust me, we still got 10 races left after this one, and next week is the mystery race, round 3, where we will do a randomized track selection right before the lobby starts, and we will be using presets, no custom setups, ladies and gentlemen. We will use presets, and it is basically our wild card race, so that will be next week. And we got some more chaotic races coming up. We got Japan. Japan's had some good races in the past. I remember one of the biggest wrecks we had in TCR was when TJ and Chabar were on the mic, and there was a huge crash in the final corner. Took out about 5 cars, I would say, that got involved in the wreck. And I remember season 17 was good with Forzan, B-Tom. Good battles there. But for now, we're going to wrap things up for week 2 in Bahrain. B-Tom has 1.5 laps to go here around the circuit with 15 corners. But I got to say, this battle for P9's heating up. I think F1 Nerd has something for Chargers, and look at this. Although, oh man, F1 Nerd's got 6 seconds, so I don't think it's going to mean anything. But hey, you know, a good little battle on track never hurt anybody. And that's the battle for P9 on track. But we take a look at B-Tom. He is starting the final lap. And I think we have our top 3 ready to go for interviews. I may just want to get the call going right now because unless if something happens, unless if lightning strikes down on these 3, this could be the podium here. Although, take a look at P4. I think Lion has found a little something here on this lap, and he could be in for a P4. He needs to get 4 tenths on Seafreeze. Man, Lion, I would hate to see him lose this position because this is 2 weeks in a row now that he is just marginally behind the guy ahead of him who has a penalty. But I like what I see out of Lion right now. He's gaining a lot of time. This could be a good scenario for Lion, and I think he's good in these kind of scenarios. So we'll see where Lion falls into play with the competition. Looks like Bats will get P6. Toaster, I think he'll get P8 because of penalties. I'm sure Mahmood probably would have liked a little bit more today, but strategy just did not go his way. But strategy went B-Tom's way today. A great strategy by him, great pace by him, and he is in for a second win on the season, and 5 in a row. B-Tom will win the Bahrain Grand Prix Round 2, and he does it by a lot. Although that gap definitely shortened down a little bit, I feel like. Maybe it didn't, but Colby, P2, he does have a 10-second penalty, so it actually evens out, considering that B-Tom had a 10-second penalty as well, but D-Swish to the line, and it looks like D-Swish will get back on the podium. C-Freeze P4, but GTR Lion will eclipse him and get P4. C-Freeze down to P5. A good race, though, regardless, for C-Freeze. A good shot in the arm after last week's race. Bats plus P6. Mahmood P7. Probably would have liked a better finish based on the speed he had today. Toaster P8. F1 Nerd P9. Although, Chargers will get him by half a second. And finish P9 ahead of F1 Nerd. Ooh, a good battle here. Truth, TJ, P12. And we will wait for FND Cakes to round things out. Good, clean race. It's what we like to see, honestly. And I'm curious to see who the awards are going to go to. And FND rounds things out. So once again, I got 2 of the 3 podium predictions correct. I had B-Tom, Colby, P1, P2, and then I had Mahmood, P3. But D-Swish had other plans, and we're taking a look at B-Tom doing some sort of a cool dance there, and there he is. 2 for 2, 5 in a row, and he ain't slowing down just yet. Looking for that 8th championship. But we'll have to see what he can do in the mystery race next week. Mystery race definitely throws a wrench into things. B-Tom gets the race winner and fastest lap awards. C-Freeze gets driver of the day. And Chargers gets the most overtakes. So good job by you guys. I still don't know why it says I need to add C-Freeze as a friend. I literally invited him earlier into the lobby, but we will get these guys in for post-race interviews. And we will start things off right away. I think we'll have an actual podium interview this week. I think these guys will join us. All right. So we'll talk to our top 3. Hey, if you guys have questions for our podium interview, feel free to fire away. We will see what we have in store for these guys. And, you know, in past seasons and in different leagues, typically people do things based off the order. But quite frankly, I'm going to give the go-ahead to whoever joins first. So, and it looks like Colby is going to join us first. So, you know what? I will talk to Colby right here. Good pace from you. Probably not what you wanted, but I got to ask, did you forget to hit the brake pedal coming into the pits? Oh. He's thinking. All right. Well, we're going to throw an audible into things. We are going to switch over to...
Oh, my mic is muted. Shit.
Oh, there you are.
Shit.
So, yeah, so about the pit lane.
Yeah, so what I was saying is I had 20 laps to reflect on that. I was going to come in here all pissy and shit, but I still got a podium, so I'll take that as a fine. I mean, I'm more disappointed if anything, but it's the factor of my tires were so worn. They were on 92%. I wasn't expecting the brakes to be that bad. I mean, I hit the brakes and it just slid. I mean, there was nothing else I could do. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, well, what I got to say, though, is based on the gap between you and B-Tom and you and D-Swish, I think you finished in the right spot, so I don't think I think it all worked out in the end, even with B-Tom's 10-second penalty, which was pretty unfortunate. But I got to ask, though, because I was really surprised by the amount of people that ended up going for a two-stop strategy. So did you think about the two-stop, or were you pretty set on just doing a traditional one-stop?
I didn't think about two-stop at all. I did a previous league race in Hennessy with this, and I got absolutely screwed over with the two-stopper. I lost so many spots. I'm like, this is not worth it. I'm going to take this to other leagues, and I'm going to do the one-stopper. It worked. My tires sucked at the end of both runs. It was a payoff. And, yeah, I'm still pissed about me speeding the pits. I had the pace to stick with B-Tom. But after the 10-second, after the first run, I'm going to nurse my tires. They're 13 seconds behind me in the second run. They're, 5 seconds behind me in the first run. I'm just going to nurse my tires. There's no reason to push.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't really have any other questions. It was really kind of a straightforward race, I feel like. What I will say is I saw that some guy in the chat earlier said that the hards could go 18 laps. So that's why I was surprised, the fact that so many people did two stops.
Yeah, it's because in the game it doesn't give you an option to do a one-stopper, so you got to do your own. I kind of just did that, and I just said, fuck it. Just did that. Yeah. No, but like you said, it was kind of boring. I wish I was kind of in the back there racing. It wasn't a fun time. Because after that speeding penalty, I had all those laps just to think about what the fuck I did. Because I wasn't battling anyone to get it off my mind.
Well, like I said, I think you finished in the right spot. I think it's all going to work out. And, hey, based on your pace, depending on when you can race, I know you're kind of up in the air on when you can race. I'm telling you, if you're able to show up every week, I think that you're going to be right there for the championship fight. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, thank you. And can I get one more thing, too?
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to D-Swish, double podium, both of our first races. Great job.
Absolutely. And you know what? Speaking of, we're actually going to go right back to the Williams, because D-Swish gets on the podium in your first race back. And D-Swish, I haven't talked to you in a minute, so just first things first, how's it going? Man, I see. Oh, do we have a copy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I missed. Were you asking me a question?
I was just checking up on you. I haven't talked to you in a little bit, so how are things?
Good. I'm actually driving into work right now.
Oh, wow.
No, it's good to get back in the league racing. I've been looking forward to it for a while.
That's awesome. How much practice have you done before tonight?
I did about 5 laps earlier this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And a couple time trial laps like a week ago, but that's about it.
Wow. Okay. So I got to say, the fact that you haven't done many laps and you're that quick, that's quite a statement, honestly. Are we going to see you most of the races throughout the season? Is that the goal?
Yeah. The first race I couldn't make because of work, but the rest of the races this season I should be able to make. So I'll give it a go. We'll see.
Well, I got to say, and Colby kind of said this before, but if you two can show up every week and have the pace that you did tonight, you guys could definitely go for constructors. And even yourself, if you're able to show up every week, because I know B-Tom might have something with his schedule possibly, maybe Colby. I don't know. You could be in the thick of the championship fight. So let's just. What are you thinking? Are you thinking championship, or are you kind of taking things just one race at a time?
Yeah, I'm kind of just taking it one race at a time. I mean, I didn't have what B-Tom had tonight. That's for sure. I don't know that anybody did.
Yeah, nobody did.
No, my setups this year are a little bit better than previous games, and I think I'm quicker on this game than previous games. So I'm just glad my setup worked for Kluka, because I know he needed one before the race. So I'm glad it worked out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good to see teammates working together. That's awesome. That's awesome. But hey, man, it was good to talk to you, and I'm sure I'll see you in here in the future based on your pace. So congrats on the podium.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good speaking with you too. Congrats to the other two as well.
Absolutely. All right. Now to B-Tom. And B-Tom, I got to ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, how boring was your race?
Maybe a 7.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, it was engaging, even though I was leading, because, I had to build up as big of a gap as I could before pitting. Then I had to overtake Luke, and one of the cars that was a pit stop down. So that was kind of the part where I had to concentrate quite a bit. And then after that, it was, pretty boring. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I got to ask about the 10-second penalty, because I'm assuming it was from Zionicle, but I cut away right before you got the penalty. So was it just the type of thing to where Zionicle was his ghost was kind of in the way?
Yeah, I overtook his ghosted car and got a warning. And I was like, I'm probably just going to get 3 seconds for this. I'll just take it on the chin. It is what it is. And then the timer runs out, and I see 10 seconds flash up, and I was like, oh, I might be cooked here.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, it's just unfortunate, but, it is what it is. It didn't really affect my race in the end, so I won't really complain about it.
Yeah, and yeah, you're absolutely right. It didn't do anything, but in the moment though, when you got that penalty, did it change how you were driving? Were you driving a little bit harder, or were you kind of just seeing what would happen?
I did make a mistake shortly after seeing the penalty, because I was just surprised. I think it's in turn 4 or something like that. So I was like on the brink of getting out of DRS range, and then I lost like half a second or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but no, I wasn't really driving any harder per se. It was just trying to make sure I wasn't making any mistakes, that sort of thing. Because the longer, Kluka stayed in DRS, the harder it's going to be to win. So
right.
I just had to keep my head down, lock in. So
yeah. Well, I got to say, you've been in these scenarios a lot, so I think you've had some practice of, having adversity and finding ways to overcome it. So, yeah, man, pretty straightforward race. Congrats on the win. And what do we think? 3 in a row next week? It is the mystery race, so what are you thinking?
We'll see. That's going to be the goal, of course. But, yeah, those races always tend to throw up a curveball.
Yeah.
Since not only is, no one can prepare because no one knows the track, but with default setups, the way you drive the cars is quite a bit different. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, congrats on the podium, and yeah, we'll see what happens next week. All right. Well, I do want to thank the 3 of you guys for joining the podium interview, because we kind of had a private interview with B-Tom last week. So I appreciate both of you Williams guys for joining in on the podium interview. And like I said, I think we'll definitely see you guys throughout the season in the interviews. But that will do it for tonight. And like I said, next week, mystery race, the wild card race. probably going to be a little more chaotic than what it was tonight, so keep an eye out for that. But that will do it for tonight. We will see you next week for the mystery race. Have a good night.